There's this one question. It kind of follows all of us around, right? It's like this quiet hum in the back of your mind, from when you're a kid all the way to old age, and it echoes in the heads of every single person you can imagine. And there it is, the big one. What is the meaning of life? I mean, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to dive deep and look at this thing from all sides. We're talking science, philosophy, psychology, and even spirituality. And look, this question is not just for some philosopher sitting in an ivory tower. Nope. The most brilliant, rational minds in science have grappled with it, and so have the most devoted, spiritual people throughout history. It's this totally universal quest, shared by kings ruling empires and monks who've given up everything. It seems like everyone at some point just stops, looks up, and asks, why am I even here?
So, what are the usual answers that pop up? Are we just here to survive? Or maybe to be happy? Is that it? Or is there something bigger, some kind of evolution we're supposed to be a part of? All right, let's kick things off with the most basic, fundamental view, science.
So, Section 1, science. And from a scientific point of view, the answer is, well, it's pretty direct and not very sentimental. Meaning, isn't some grand mystery we need to solve, it's just a strategy for survival.
So, if you look at it from a purely biological lens, life is just a self-perpetuating machine. Your job? Keep that machine running. Survive. Pass on your genes. End of story. But then neuroscience comes in, and this is where it gets really fascinating. That deep feeling of meaning we all search for, neuroscience says it's basically a clever trick, a psychological illusion our brains cooked up to keep us motivated. To keep us from just giving up.
But even one of the greatest scientific minds ever, Albert Einstein, knew this wasn't the whole picture. He got that just knowing the biological how of things, it just doesn't scratch that itch, that very human need to understand the why. And that feeling, that deep-seated feeling that there's gotta be more, well, that's exactly where philosophy comes into play.
So now we're on to philosophy, creating your truth. And yeah, for literally thousands of years, this is what philosophers have been doing. They've been wrestling with that exact feeling, that there has to be more to it than just staying alive. They've looked for meaning everywhere, in logic, in being a good person, and believe it or not, even in the idea that there is no meaning.
Let's go way back to the ancient Greeks. They basically gave us two major paths to think about. On one hand, you've got Aristotle. For him, it was all about eudaimonia, this idea of flourishing, of becoming the absolute best version of yourself. Then, on the other hand, you have Epicurus, who was like, whoa, let's simplify. He said meaning is found in the simple things, quiet pleasures, good friends, and just trying to live a life without a lot of stress and pain. Totally different approaches to what a good life even means.
Okay, fast forward a couple thousand years, and then boom, the existentialists show up and just flip the whole table over. Their idea was seriously radical. They said, life has no built-in meaning, zero. It's a totally blank canvas, and guess what? You are the one holding the paintbrush. But, and this is the kicker, that freedom, the freedom to create your own purpose, is also a massive, kind of terrifying burden.
Jean-Paul Sartre put it so perfectly. He said, man is condemned to be free. Think about that. Condemned. It means you can't escape it. You are stuck with the responsibility of choosing who you are and what your life is all about. There's no script, no instruction manual.
And his buddy, Albert Camus, he took that idea and ran with it. He said, look, the meaning isn't in the finished painting, it's in the act of painting. It's in the struggle itself. Camus said that the meaning is found in the conscious choice to just keep pushing that rock up the hill day after day. That's what fills a person's heart.
Okay, so let's shift gears and travel halfway across the world, because Indian philosophy was taking a totally different approach. They were looking inward. For schools like Vedanta, the whole point is to realize your true self, the Atman, that you're not just your body or your thoughts. The Bhagavad Gita, it teaches that meaning comes from doing your duty, your dharma, but without getting hung up on the outcome. And then in Buddhism, the whole purpose is to look suffering right in the eye, understand where it comes from, and then rise above it.
All right, so we've covered biology and we've dipped into philosophy. Now let's get into the mind's blueprint with modern psychology. Psychologists took a slightly different angle. They stopped asking what is meaning and started asking a more practical question. What makes a human life feel meaningful? What are the ingredients?
And what the research shows is pretty incredible. It seems to boil down to three main things, three pillars. First up is belonging.
That feeling that you're loved, you're understood, you're part of a tribe. Next is purpose, having a direction, feeling like what you do actually matters. And the third one is story, the narrative, the personal story you tell yourself that makes sense of your life, connecting the dots of your past, present, and future.
So, in a way, psychology kind of lands in a similar spot to the existentialists, just with more data to back it up. Meaning isn't something out there in the universe that you stumble upon. It's something you build inside your own head. And that's why things like losing a job or a bad breakup can hit so hard, right? It's not just the event itself. It shatters the story you've been telling yourself. And suddenly you have to pick up the pieces and start building a new one.
And that idea of rebuilding brings us perfectly to our final perspective, spirituality, this idea of a cosmic journey. Because where science might see a random, meaningless biological event, most spiritual traditions see the complete opposite. They see something intentional, a journey with a built-in purpose.
And when you look across all these different traditions, you start to see these really cool recurring themes. The idea that life is like a school, and our soul is here to learn and grow. The Hindu concept of Leela, which sees all of existence as a kind of cosmic play. The journey from ignorance to enlightenment in Buddhism. The path of dissolving your ego through love in Sufism. What do they all have in common? They all point to life as a process of transformation.
And hey, this kind of thinking isn't just for mystics. The amazing astronomer Carl Sagan had this absolutely breathtaking thought. He said, "We are a way for the cosmos to know itself." Just let that sink in. Maybe our consciousness, our ability to ask these questions, maybe it's not some random accident. Maybe we are the universe's way of waking up and becoming aware of itself.
Okay, so we've got science, philosophy, psychology, and spirituality. At first glance, it feels like they're all giving us different, competing answers. But what if they're all just different fingers pointing at the same moon? Let's try to bring this all together. Here it is. This is the synthesis, the powerful truth at the center of it all. Meaning is not given. It's created. That's the one thing that connects everything we've talked about. Whether it's the existentialist choosing what to value, the psychologist constructing a personal story, or the soul evolving through its lessons, the common thread is that meaning is an active process. It is not something you find, it is something you make. So the obvious next question is, okay, great, how do I start building? Well, here's a really practical way to think about it. Just ask yourself 4 key questions. Number 1, what gives you energy? What really makes you feel alive and engaged? Number 2, what pain are you willing to struggle for? Because purpose isn't always fun. What's important enough to endure hardship for? 3, what impact do you want to leave behind? And finally, number 4, who are you becoming through your choices every single day? And this really is the final, most important shift in thinking. So many of us search for meaning like it's this hidden treasure chest at the end of a long journey. But that's not what it is. Meaning isn't the destination. The meaning is the story you choose to live. It's the path you forge for yourself. So we're going to end by flipping that very first question completely on its head. It turns out the most powerful question isn't, what is the meaning of life? The real question, the one that truly matters, is the one you have to ask yourself. It's a creative act, and only you have the answer. It's this: what meaning will I give to the life I've been given? The pen is in your hand. The story is yours to write.